Ferrari are a joke, eh, people? We're a joke. We are a complete, utter clown show. A joke. Anyways, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the Pole Position Pod. Augustia is back. Augustia is finally on for the first time since I've renamed the show Pole Position Pod. Big up to you, man. Welcome back. How are you doing?
Unbelievable, Akavin. You may be watching the circus. I'm watching the chaos on steroids. I love this race. Yeah, it wasn't the result Ferrari wanted, but this was everything you want out of a Formula One race. Unpredictability, genius, gambling, greatness. It was like Sonny Hayes. It was just madness upon madness. There's so much to dissect and unravel. Lando Norris, as I called, if you look at the comments of your guys' preview, was going to win this race. I always thought he was going to win this race just because in mixed conditions, I favor him over Oscar. He's a better driver in wet, and the momentum that he has head to head, I think Lando is a better overall racer than Oscar. It's just that mentally he is deficient in that regard. But with momentum is a drug. Adrenaline is awesome. And Lando Norris, kudos to you. Hometown hero, well deserved. But the story of the weekend, guys, King, I hope you agree with me on this. I know you agree with me on this. Nico Hulk, man, I'm so happy for him. What is it? 239 races without a podium?
Yeah, man, first one.
Dude, so deserved. I'm so happy for him. He is probably the only person that I would be happy to have a podium over Lewis Hamilton. Like, I'm actually happy out of that race. But King, what about you? What'd you make of it?
First of all, I don't agree with the title. I just think it was one of those races. It's rain. Every team made different decisions. Some of them wrong, some of them right. But yeah, it was a crazy race. I don't think Lando was better than Oscar on the day. I just think Oscar made one move, which I think I don't know if it was deserved for him to get the penalty, because I don't really know.
It was.
Let me finish my point, because I don't have the telemetry that they do, so I don't know how quick he actual braked. I think it was a bit over the top from Max and Red Bull, but that's what they do. And I think in terms of race pace and in terms of overall race, if it wasn't for that penalty, I think Oscar would have won the race. So it's just one of those ones where you get punished for something that happened behind safety car conditions. Now, is there something Oscar could have probably done? Maybe, but I don't think he could have been prepared to what Max was going to do behind him. I think when you're driving in those conditions, you're not really looking behind you. So for me, I don't think it was a deserved penalty, in my opinion. I think it was just dramatics from Red Bull, like usual. Overall exciting race. I think yes, the best moment was Nico getting the podium. And yeah, Oscar unlucky. I think injustice for Oscar Piastri. Yeah, Max got what he deserved after that dramatics with that spin to P10. So
I don't think it was justice for Lando Norris, because he got what he wanted, a McLaren victory. At the end of the day, he's a team player.
Oh, well, there's no teams in this game. It's about if you're Oscar Piastri, you're trying to win. You've got the best car. You're trying to win the driver championship.
King, I don't know what you're talking about. I thought Apex GP worked really well as a team. That's what I thought. But I don't know what you're on about, man. You need to go watch the F1 film.
Nah, it's not a team game. There's teams, but it's not a team game. It's individual sport. That's why you never hear about what teams have won. You hear about the drivers' championship. That's the main one. The team one is the constructors is the secondary. The only thing the constructors does is give the team more money and less time in the simulator. But for the drivers themselves, for them as the individuals, they want that drivers' championship, because in the end of their career, they're not going to carry the constructors. They're carrying the drivers to their homes. So for Oscar, I think it was injustice for him, in my opinion, my personal opinion. But I don't have the telemetry to see if he actually brake checked Max. I don't know. Maybe I have to do the research for that.
Put it this way, if I'm not mistaken. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, I was going to tell you the number. Again, PSI is a very interesting stat. PSI is about pressure. And do you remember Russell tried a similar maneuver in Canada, was it?
Oh, yeah.
and that was around 30 psi. I think the FIA said anything above 30 psi denotes a brake check. So Oscar was 60 psi.
Oh, mad. Okay, I didn't know that.
That's why a 10-second penalty, which I believe was 100% justified. Now, I understand where you're coming from, King. A lot of drivers do it. Max, we know he loves the antics with safety car. I completely get you. You're
Yeah.
right in that way. But based on the telemetry, I think that a penalty was justified. So
Yeah, no, I didn't know the facts behind. I didn't know the numbers, but knowing the numbers now, thank you for the information. Then yeah, Oscar did it to himself because on race pace and the whole race alone, he was the best driver of that weekend. But it is what it is. Probably something he can learn from. Maybe he doesn't really need to do that because if he didn't do that, he wins that race comfortably, in my opinion. Because even with the 10-second penalty, he was only 6 seconds behind Lando. So you take that 10 seconds plus the extra time it would have added because it's 10 seconds without touching the car. So meaning 10 seconds without touching the car, then they have to get the car up and do the all sorts. So that you're losing maybe between 12 to 13, maybe even 14 seconds altogether. So he would have won the race by 7 seconds altogether. So yeah, he did it to himself. But congrats to Lando for winning his first home GP. Congrats to Nico for getting the third. And yeah, that's all I got to say for now.
Yeah.
Ekvid, can I ask you? I want to hear about this clown show. I've never heard of a circus in the rain. Like, I'm really interested. What's this circus in the rain all about? Like,
Ferrari in general, bro. They're just a circus, bro. That's what it is. I don't think I need to clarify anything more. They're just a clown show. Like, genuinely, they've been a clown show for a long time already. I've not reiterated this plenty of times on shows. Like, genuinely, like, how many times, right? Like, strategy, errors. Over the years, I've seen it all, bro. I've seen it all. And this year, the engines got much worse. How are you, as a fucking, bro, one of the fastest cars in the world, can't even come up with a fucking engine to be one of the fastest cars, to be the fastest car on the grid. You're not slower than McLaren. Ferrari are not slower than McLaren. In general, guys, let's just be honest. Ferrari are not slower than McLaren. They're not. They're not.
Right now, this season.
No. Forget, just in general. In general, Ferrari are not a slower car than McLaren. Right. Ferrari are not.
No, there's been many seasons where Ferrari have been slower than McLaren, including this one.
Wait, I kind of don't understand what that means.
I'm not talking about F1. I'm not talking about F1. I'm not talking.
Oh, so you mean in terms of a brand? Yeah, Ferrari are definitely quicker.
Yes.
Okay, that makes sense.
How do you, as such a top level institution, do not come up with an engine that's good enough to win every single year? It's a joke. It's genuinely a joke. How? I'm questioning them. How is this possible? Like, genuinely, season in, season out, bro. You're not faster than, bro, McLaren, Red Bull. Bro, Red Bull are not faster than Ferrari in general. McLaren are not a faster car than Ferrari. You have the money there to come up with an engine or upgrades that's good enough to get Ferrari across the line year in, year out. When was the last time Ferrari won a constructors championship, guys? Or even the drivers won a championship? Talk to me. When was the last time when was the last time?
Wasn't it when McLaren got DQ'd? If I'm not mistaken.
2008, 2007. I think was the last time Ferrari.
Whatever it was when McLaren got DQ'd, so they won on a technicality.
There you go. That was the last time Ferrari ever won something in F1. Ever since then, they've been slower than Mercedes. They've been slower than Red Bull. They're now slower than McLaren. Yeah, they've done their drivers dirty in the past. They've done Vettel. They've done Sebastian Vettel. Yeah, one of the best drivers we've seen. Yeah, dirty. Now they're doing it to Charles Leclerc, and then soon come Lewis Hamilton. You'll see. Ferrari are not in my top 5 contenders next year. They're gonna finish 6th next year. I'm telling you right now. I'm serious. They're not contenders next year. They're not. And I can tell you this right now, straight up, with a straight face, they're not contenders next year. I'll be proven right. I hope I'm wrong, but I'll be proven right.
Yeah, I'd be willing to bet a lot of money that you're wrong.
I'm fuming right now, genuinely. It was right there for Lewis Hamilton today, man. I'm sorry. It was right there for him. Third was right there for him. It was right there. Genuinely, it was right there. Got it. He had it. 0.4 seconds. He had the DRS range to get past Nico Hülkenberg to finish in the podium. Ferrari finally getting a podium. Lewis Hamilton finally getting his first podium as a Ferrari driver. No better place to do it than the Silverstone. There was a good chance to do it today, man. We all expected it. I expected it. I gotta say, I'm sure I expected it. We all expected it, man. The unexpected happened. Nico Hülkenberg finishes above Ferrari. Congrats to him, anyways. I've just, it's been too long since Ferrari have done something good in F1. So I'm gonna constantly wait. Next year we ain't winning enough. We ain't winning next year, so it's calm. We ain't winning next year. If it goes on like this, we ain't winning next year. We ain't. Right? Fred Vasseur is a joke. He's a joke. He's an absolute disgrace. And I think he should go. And I'm not joking. I think he should go. Ferrari needs to replace him with someone better. He's not good enough. In my opinion, he's not good enough. Right? I think since Lewis Hamilton's come in, Ferrari should have been prepared to win already. They should have had the engine and the car ready to win already. Now you can't even get past fucking Kick Sauber finishing above Ferrari in an F1 race. Did you guys have that in your in your books? Did you have that in mind this year? That Kick Sauber would win a race? Would get a podium over Ferrari in recent times?
No, because I don't have a Formula One book, so no, I didn't.
Okay, but then there you go. That's just my little rant.
Can I jump?
About this race, it was just rain, follow the lead, follow the safety car, and cool. I mean, I've seen a lot of cars, like, I've seen a lot of crash outs. I've seen a lot, but I think the FIA could have been a bit more careful. I think at times, because there was low visibility, there was low. It was harder for drivers to see. I think they should have been more like careful. I think there should have been at least a stoppage for a bit, because at the end of the day, I know it makes the race more fun. However, like, it's just because, like, I want a fair race. I wanted like a proper race. I think the race pace was there for most cars this weekend. I just think the rain kind of just had to, it kind of ruined it. I think the rain kind of ruined what could have been a potential great race, like great final few laps, because Norris and Piastri had it easy. They have it easy every single week. They have a great car this year. They're gonna dominate the F1 season. They're gonna dominate the season. It's over. It's over already. Before it's done. It's over before it's done. This year, McLaren's year. It's in the bag now. However, I wanted to see a better race, and I you know what? I don't know about you guys. I, for me, didn't enjoy this race. I'll be honest with you. I don't know why. It's just too many safety cars, too many too many safety cars, man. I didn't enjoy it. I'll be honest with you. I didn't like the amount of safety cars that were out there. Cool, I understand that obviously cars are gonna crash. Fair enough. But I don't know, man. I just think they could have done it better. They could have handled it better. I don't think they should have been racing at one point. They should have at least paused it, because if the track was drier, I think they could have had a better race all round. Could have had a more competitive race. It's just the podium places. The podium teams dominated. McLaren dominated once again. Nothing new, right? But you could have seen a better race pace from Charles Leclerc. Charles Leclerc finished 14th. Why? Because of intermediate tires. So this is why I say I think it could have been better without the rain. I genuinely think without the rain today, the race would have been a lot better. That's all I say. I don't know what you guys want to say, but
King, you can jump in first. I just want to address Ekevin's Ferrari point, but on your point about the race being better, unironically or paradoxically, that's exactly the reason why I think this race was good. Because of the safety cars, because of the chaos, because of the unpredictability with the weather. Heading into it, you're absolutely right. McLaren were head on shoulders the number one team on the grid by almost every metric. Maybe in a dry race, we could have had a Ferrari McLaren Max showdown. But the rain made it so unpredictable that we got Nico fucking Hulkenberg finally on the podium. A prophecy F1 fans have been waiting to be fulfilled for decades, for literally decades. So I thought the rain was sick. On your point about Ferrari, I think among the three of us, I'm in the middle here. I know, King, you've been a little bit more complimentary about Ferrari than I am. I'm also complimentary about Ferrari more than Ekevin. I agree with you, Ekevin, though. If you're Ferrari, if you're the biggest and best team, I say this every single stream, I'm just a broken record at this point, you should never, ever sacrifice the season. Your aim should always and solely be to win.
That's why I'm frustrated, by the way. I don't care if we lost the race. I care more about us sacrificing an entire season just for a fucking rebuild. You know what I mean? Rebuild what? We were one of the fastest cars towards the end of last season. What did we need to rebuild?
Sure.
What did we need to rebuild? You know what I mean? We didn't even need to touch the car. We could have been better than McLaren. We could have been better than McLaren this year, but I don't know, man. It's just Ferrari make upgrades when unnecessary. They make they remember the Beijing Grand Prix when Lewis won the sprints. They should never have touched the car then. That would have been Ferrari 1 and 2 for me easily Ferrari 1 and 2 or Ferrari 1 and 3, whatever it was. Lewis could have won that race. So, but at the end of the day, it's decision making from this team. That's why I question it. That's why I keep on telling you. This team's incompetent. The whole team, the engineer, is incompetent, bro. And I'll even go back to the qualifiers when they put Lewis in the garage. How much of a damning indictment would that have been if that costed him Q2 and Q3? He was on the brink of elimination. He was this close to elimination. Imagine he actually got eliminated from the whole from Q2 and Q3. Imagine. It's just I question the decision making from this entire team. That's what I'm. But sorry, I know you wanted to continue saying.
Yeah, I just wanted to say I completely agree with you. Decision making like the error in Q1 yesterday is indefensible. I can't defend the indefensible. However, I wouldn't go as far as to say as fuck Fred Vasseur, fuck the Ferrari team. Next season, with the money we have, with the manpower we have, with the new regulations and adapting to new regulations,
I hope you're right.
This isn't confidence. This is complete certainty. Clip it. I will do the worst forfeit in human history. Ferrari will 100% be among a top 5 team next season. I have zero doubt in my mind for that to be the case. And I would go as far as to say, I think us and McLaren will be competing for the championship next year. Now, in terms of today, Ekevin, I don't really think it's a clown show. Again, clown shows and circuses only happen. I don't think they're circuses that happen in the wet. They usually happen indoors. And in the wet, everything becomes unpredictable. For you to conduct your circus acts, you can't really do them in the wet. So I don't know how we can blame Ferrari. I guess maybe the gamble on the first lap, pitting Leclerc, boxing him for mediums, was it? Or mediums or hards, instead of staying on the intermediates. That's the only thing we can fault them. But then again, subvert the status quo. I can't blame them. So in terms of intention, yeah, the 50-50s didn't go our way, but that was it. It was 50-50s that didn't go our way today. Apart from that, I can't really blame Ferrari. The wets are so unpredictable. Pace is just unquantifiable. You can't really prepare for a race like this. So, Ekevin, I agree with you. On a macro level, 100%. The fact that Ferrari sacrificed the season is indefensible. But on a micro level, from a race to race to race level, apart from the mishap in Q1, King, I think you may agree with me, I can't really blame Ferrari for what they did today. I really can't, because it was just a wet race and conditions were beyond erratic.
Okay, let's go from the start of the race to the end. Obviously, the race started in wet conditions, but because of it not being truly wet, it wasn't like it was intermediate-ish conditions. So obviously, it was gonna be a thing of it was drying. The track was drying up really quickly, and most of the lap was dry except for maybe the last sector where it was wet. So it was just depending on what do you think you were capable of being dry for most parts, or dealing with the last bit that was wet. In regards to decision making, I think a lot of the decision making would have came down to the driver. I think Lewis decided to stay on his intermediates, and I think Charles was probably the one that wanted to go onto the mediums. I don't think. I think one of those. I think those decision makings early on would have been a driver by driver basis of what they felt they were comfortable with when they kind of drove that lap. And Ferrari wasn't the only team that did that. Multiple teams, including Mercedes, and other teams, had some of their drivers go in early for dry tires. But for me, this race was a great race. It was amazing. It has everything you needed for a race. 5 cars knocked out, one before the race. 4 cars knocked out in multiple separate occasions. The reason why there were so many safety cars is because there was cars that were crashing. I think Hadjar crashed. I think Kimi's car went. I think obviously Colapinto never started. Who else? I think 5 rookies went down. The only rookie to stay was Behrman.
And can I add, real quick, I don't want to interrupt you. Ollie also had a couple spins.
Yeah,
so he
had a couple spins. Even who had a double? I remember someone had a double spin. It was George.
Yeah, it was Georgie.
George had a double spin. So it was one of those races. And also, speaking of Lewis, there was points in the race where he couldn't see, to the point where cars were passing him and he couldn't see. So he lost a couple places in different points of the race because the Ferrari wasn't so used to those type of wet-ish conditions, and then cars would pass him, but then he would pass them back. So I feel like there was no such guarantee this race that anyone outside of the 2 McLarens was going to get what they was going to get. There was even one point where Lance Stroll was in P3, just based on the kind of getting the luck of the draw when it came to the tires, and making different decisions. Obviously, he went softs for a couple, then went back to intermediates. And then right at the end there, a lot of the teams took the risk. It was a risk at the end when you decided to go to the dry, because the cutoff point was coming. But I think a lot of the teams went too early going into dries. That's why you saw. And the reason why Leclerc finished 14th is because he went to dries and he made a mistake and he went off. At one point he was top 10 and then he went off and he got to 14th, and especially after these kind of conditions, you go off, you lose multiple places because everything was bunched so together because of the multiple safety cars. So a lot of the errors came in this race was driver error. It was about keeping your car on the track and being able to do what you can with the car, with various conditions. I would understand AK Vin's rant if this was a dry race and Ferrari made those kind of mistakes. But this is a kind of race where every team was making mistakes. Even within Aston Martin, they made the right decisions for Lance, but the wrong decisions for Alonso. There was one point where Lance was 3rd, Alonso was 15th, 16th, or something like that. So I feel like it was just whatever. They were just trying different things, seeing what would work. And I think because obviously with the weather, the water coming in, the rain coming in and out, going from dry to wet to dry to wet, it was just a cluster of different things, plus the crashes in between. And also the reason why they kept the safety car out during the times is because in order for you to kind of scoop the water off the surface, it's better if cars are going through rather than you just doing it yourself. So I think it was one of those things where they needed the safety car in order for these cars to kind of dry out the surface by themselves, because every time the cars are going around, they dry out the surface. So based on the decision making that they made, it wouldn't have been a good idea to red flag the race at points, because then it would take a lot longer for the track to dry and become drivable conditions. So that's why they did what they did. And there was points where people had won inters that was not ready for the wet. Sometimes people had good inters, good softs, good mediums, whatever. So in the end of the day, there was no kind of like rhyme or reason to what happened. Even Max Verstappen's spin, if that spin never happened, maybe he could have won the race. You never know. Obviously Oscar got his penalty that led to Lando winning in the end. But yeah, I feel like overall, I feel like it was just about who was the most comfortable with their car in these various conditions. And no, Lewis isn't washed, and I won't disrespect, and I won't have any disrespect to the goat. So you can take that off. Um, for me,
Agreed, 100%. I won't have.
W King just spitting facts
Well-
right there. Keep going.
but I just think I think towards the end Lewis didn't have enough. I think he made a mistake going to softs. He should have probably gone to mediums at the end because I think it was no, that wouldn't have worked because it was dry. The track was drying at a pace where the tires would have gone off. That's why everyone switched to things. The only team that had the opportunity to stay longer was McLaren because they had the gap in time, but everyone else had to change. As soon as someone went and decided to go to slicks, everyone else followed. You saw it one by one; they followed at the end. So it was just about who made the right decision at the right time, and it was it is. I am happy for Nico. I'm gonna lie to you. I'm happy for Nico for getting that third place. He deserved it. He put in some great laps towards the end of the race, and you also have to kind of think of like he could have overtaken him before they when they were on inters.
I agree. He could have. I agree with this one. But
He could have, but it's mixed conditions.
Guys, how old was Inters at that point? Weren't they warned?
Washed? I don't think he's washed. I agree with this point though, but I don't think he's washed. That's all I'll say.
Like, you also have to factor in no DRS during those times as well, so there is no extra boost that you get.
King, age of the compound. Don't forget.
Yeah.
Also the age, like how old are the tires?
Yeah, the wear on the tires. Also, those conditions weren't suitable for the Ferrari. You could see when it was wetter, the Ferrari wasn't as comfortable because also Ferrari built their car to be low to the ground, and because of that, it was very downforce heavy, which isn't good for wet conditions. So yeah, I just think the Ferrari wasn't good in those conditions compared to the McLaren or the Red Bull. And yeah, I just even the Mercedes who looked good during quali struggled as well with Russell as well. So it just was anyone's race for that third position. So it could have been to anyone. There was one point I thought it was going to go to Stroll, one point where it was Hulkenberg, one point where it could have been Lewis. But you know, it is what it is. I'm happy for Nico, as I said, and yeah, it's just one of those races. Like,
yes,
there was never there was.
100%.
He wasn't quick, you know. Well, there was no DRS because it was bad conditions. So
no, but he was 0.4 seconds behind though. And DRS was enabled already at the time when he was 0.4 seconds behind. He was.
I don't think it was.
No,
it wasn't at that time because it was wet. It was.
I remember.
You're right.
I remember Crofty saying he has DRS range. He has the DRS also to catch him. I remember Crofty saying it as well. So
yeah, actually, King, I agree with you. In wet conditions, as we all know, DRS would be disabled, but it was awkward. It wasn't wet. It wasn't inters. It was a mix. And I do also remember Crofty and seeing the DRS flap go open. So this comment and Ekevin, you both were right. Yeah,
for a few.
He was within DRS range for several laps, 5-6 laps behind Nico Hulkenberg, but he couldn't overtake him.
Because the thing about he couldn't overtake him was probably most likely because of the wet conditions. You have to go to the side and then go into the water. So I get go into the dry parts.
He was right there though. That's the thing. That's my point. He was right there. He had the chance to. Like, he's a much faster car. At the end of the day, in a normal race.
Guys, but this talk about Hamilton being finished is just blasphemy. We saw his overtake, right? No, I know. I'm just putting it out there. We saw his double overtake on Ocon and Russell. That was his instincts. His instincts are still there. Give him the machinery.
You do know that they both have the same engine, so they're as quick as each other in straight line speed as well.
But Ferrari straight line speed was infinitely quicker than the Sauber.
In dry conditions, but wet conditions, the car wasn't good.
But
the car in wet condition wasn't good at all.
Sorry,
there was point.
Sorry,
King is 1,000,000% correct because Aussie. Let's remember Silverstone to Down Under. Ferraris was shit. They were super awful in that wet condition race.
Yeah,
So King is 100% right. The Ferrari does not optimize itself whatsoever in wet conditions. But still, I agree. He probably should have overtaken Nico
Last
Hulkenberg.
year was the one year I really had hope for that team, Ferrari. Last year was the one year I properly had hope.
Oh, for the constructors.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Bro, I don't care about individual. I don't care about drivers' championships. I care about constructors. I'm Ferrari, bro. I don't care about I don't care about no drivers' championship. I want a constructors' championship.
But you see that the problem, Ekevin, but the problem is with that mindset, which I 100% see as plausible and valid. That's not how the drivers operate. The drivers don't drive in Formula One to win the constructors' championship. They win.
I'm Team Ferrari. You get it? I'm not Team Leclerc. I'm not Team Lewis. I'm Team Ferrari. Whoever's racing for Ferrari, you have my full support. So at the end of the day, I don't care who's racing for Ferrari. At the end, if you are racing for Ferrari, you have my support. So I'm cheering for Team Ferrari, both drivers. I don't care who wins. You know what I mean?
I love it.
All I ever want to see is Ferrari 1 and 2s most weeks.
Wait, can you bring up the latest comment?
I will do. But big up to Mr. Joshy J. Make sure you guys sub to his channel as well. Make sure you guys get him to 2K and sub to King's channel. Links in the title. Let's get this channel also to 345 subs. We're 2 subs away, people. Come on, 2 subs away. If you guys could do that. I am Team Ferrari with Michael there. Where have they gone, bro? Talk to me, man. You tell me. I've done my rant, man. I'm not trying to disrespect Lewis. It's just not working out. I wouldn't say it's not working out. I would say Ferrari shouldn't be doing what they're doing this year. They should not be sacrificing this year. I think they're sacrificing the year. It's not that it's not working out. I think it will work out eventually, but it's just not. But sacrificing the years is not good enough, in my opinion. They should not be doing that.
Guys, let's not forget, if you look at the last 4 races, Hamilton has improved significantly. Okay, just if you look at the micro level, he's catching up to Leclerc very quickly, and his qualifying has improved to Leclerc's. I don't know what's happened to Leclerc's qualifying. That's another conversation. Like, what has happened to Charles Leclerc's qualifying? He mentioned it yesterday, but what has happened? Like, seriously, he used to be the premier qualifier. He used to be peak qualifier on the grid, the best on the grid, better than Max on the grid. But something has happened. It's just the confidence of this car has completely collapsed him. But on the Lewis Hamilton point, no, as long as he's within Leclerc, right? First season was always about regaining rhythm. I can play you a clip from what I said last year. This season is about regaining it, acclimating to it, and becoming yourself again. Next season is make or break. Next season, give him the machinery, the man will shine, right? Give him the car, let the star shine. That's how it works. So for me to write off Lewis Hamilton, the man who is the most wins, the most poles, the most titles, transcended the sport, the greatest of all time, that to me is disingenuous when he still has clearly, as we've seen throughout this season, shown that he has the ability to produce some of the most mesmerizing and magical maneuvers. So next season. And like I said, honestly, here you can call me Delulu is the Salulu. I do think Hamilton has one more championship in him. I do think he will get his 8th official championship next year if you give him the car.
I don't think he will. I'm sorry.
No, I'm very certain he will. King, what do you make of that?
In terms, there's a couple of things. I don't think Ferrari have fully thrown away.
I agree with this comment.
Yeah, Ferrari changed their car concept to suit the new regulations going forward, but they haven't thrown away their whole thing. They're still second or third in constructors. They're around about where they should be. McLaren is the best car on the grid. You're trying to catch up to them. Obviously, it's going to be difficult to because you're at the end of a regulation. There's only so much you can do to catch up to the team that's on top. And considering how far McLaren is ahead of everyone, it's going to be difficult for this season. So would you rather just focus on one season in this regulation or focus on the next regulation where you can dominate it for multiple years?
We've been doing this for years and it's not worked out with anyone. It's not worked out with Vettel. It's not worked out with.
Those were under different managements, so it's a different system.
Yeah,
those were different managers. That was when it was Bonotto and
I don't trust
other people. So I'm talking about.
But that's like saying it didn't work out under Unai Emery, so Luis Enrique wouldn't work out at PSG. Like, it's apples to oranges. It's not a proportionate comparison.
In what Listen, if you're gonna keep talking about the past was a different time, different regulations, different way the car moved. If you look at this season, we've had some of the best pit stops in terms of decision making. For the most part, we've been good in terms of the car. Obviously, they made a change to the concept, but it's improving over time and will be better probably for it for next season when the 2026 regs come. Obviously, Mercedes is going to have the best engine for next year because it's more moving to more the electronic style.
I think
So it's just up to Ferrari to get a good enough engine to compete with those Mercedes engine teams next year. Outside of this year, I think Fred Vasseur, for the most part, in his tenure, has improved Ferrari tenfold in every aspect. And I don't think, and I think Ferrari has been on an upward trajectory for the most part. If you're going to keep blaming the past faults on Fred Vasseur, who when he wasn't there, when he was in Alfa Romeo at the time, then it's silly. You have to look forward. Look what's going to happen next. So we're going to go to a new regulation, which is going to be a period of maybe 5 to 6 years. So do you want to waste your time on this season when Ferrari hasn't been good for the entire regulation, or do you want to focus on the next one where you can dominate it? That's the decision Fred Vasseur made because he came in not at the start of the regulation. He came in on the end part.
Yeah, but can I just add? You're 100% right.
Yeah.
I agree with you. That is very good macro analysis. I agree. Only caveat is to play devil's advocate.
Yeah.
Heading into the season, we had momentum. We were probably Ferrari was probably the best car in the second half of last season. So you scrapped that away, scrapped a potential title-winning season for new regs, which, like I said, I wouldn't do that. I think you should always compete, but we can't evaluate Ferrari's decision to scrap this season until next season here. We can't. We have to wait until we see the end product next season. So to anyone saying Fred Vasseur out, Ferrari out, premature. Relax.
And also, McLaren was the best car towards the second half of last season, not Ferrari. We were still second then.
Easily, but
Ferrari. But it was very like second half of last season. It was very close though. The fact that
it was close, but we were still second.
Ferrari had their chances.
We were still second.
It was debatable, but the point being, they sacrificed
Baku, especially Baku.
Baku's first half, but yeah, I agree. I think next season is when the proof is in the pudding. Until next season.
But answer this question. Sorry.
Again, but Boss of the Blue, I appreciate the comment here. What could they have done differently? Like I get it, the first lap, okay, maybe, but nothing was like indefensible. It was all in the moment. You have to look at it prospectively, not retrospectively. These are 50-50s. It's like a 50-50 in football. If it doesn't go your way, it's like at least we attempted it. This isn't like a horror decision. So yes, there were some decisions that could have been better, but at the same time, it's like there was no glaring error. I can't think of a glaring error that they made. I'm not defending Ferrari. I'm not apologizing for it, but I'm just saying, like, what could they have realistically done that differently? Because there wasn't a major mistake.
We'll talk about the Mercs. We will.
They're competing.
The Mercs had a bad day.
King, it's been a bad month. Not a bad day, a bad month.
Yeah, the thing about the last race for Mercedes, the Mercedes car isn't good in hot conditions. So last race, it wasn't their race. This race was a bit more their speed, but obviously Kimi had issues, and George had his issues as well. But as I said, it's a rain race, so this is just about luck of the draw. George was one of the ones that I think came in early for the. I believe we'll get ahead, so on 20 others will have to catch up. I don't think Mercedes are gonna be up there next year, in my opinion.
I think they will. Especially if Max goes there next year, they're going to be even more up there.
Are we confident that McLaren will sustain this advantage?
Yes.
Because they put all their eggs. Yes. I don't know. I haven't psychoanalyzed them, but yeah, go on.
I think they will.
I haven't psychoanalyzed McLaren, but I'm not sure. Like Ferrari, we know for sure put their eggs in next year. What about McLaren? Are they balancing it?
Also, out of Mercedes engine cars, the one that's going to be the best will be Aston Martin going forward.
Possibly.
for me.
You got Aston Martin, Audi coming in.
King, they need the driver pairing. With all due
It's
respect, Alonso.
not about driver pairing. I'm talking about car because with Adrian Newey, he's the best in the business. Plus, they've acquired a lot of people from Red Bull and other companies as well. I'm talking about purely car. Aston Martin will be up there. Will be top 3.
I hear you.
For me, I don't McLaren. I think one of McLaren or Mercedes won't be top 3.
I think Mercedes will definitely be in there. I think McLaren will be there as well. Until Ferrari can prove to me, I don't trust them next year. Still, I've still got my doubts.
But that's just based on if the Mercedes engine is the best engine. We don't know.
I reckon it could be because they do have the money. They do have the package going into next year. So we'll see. They do have it, but we'll talk about Spa in the coming weeks, bro. We'll talk about it soon. But big up to you, man. Big up to you. I don't think they should have gambled Charles and race on a wet sector. They could have copied McLaren down to a T because ultimately we are racing them. Thoughts on this?
Oh yeah, I do agree with you. I said the same thing during the first lap. I love the subvert the status quo statement, King. You know I use that a lot.
Yeah.
But like at the same time, if you have similar pace, if you don't necessarily have a disadvantage, and in those erratic conditions, I don't see why you need to 100% gamble off the charts. So I agree with you, Boss of the Blue. I 100% agree with you. But it wasn't like an inordinately odd and despicable decision because other teams like George Russell made that decision. So yes, I agree they should not have, but at the same time, I'm not going to condemn them for it. I appreciate the risk taking.
Yeah, teams made risks that they didn't fall out. Plus, I would say this. I'll say it throughout. And in particular, Ferrari wasn't good in the wetter conditions or in the intermediate tires. So if your car isn't the best on intermediate tires, then you probably would give it a go of trying to go to slicks earlier than others. But it was just down to whether it worked or not. But because of the amount of safety cars and other factors, that kind of lost it was safety cars that stopped that idea of being smart, because as soon as the safety cars got involved, it allowed for everything to bunch up, and then it allowed for other teams to be able to do their pit stops in safety car conditions as well. So they lost less time, and there was a lot of virtual safety cars at the start as well. So yeah, it was one of those races where it was just about being in the right place at the right time. Stroll was, Nico was. I think there was another one. I think Gasly was up there at some points. But then it was about keeping your car on track and having your tires in the right condition. You saw with Lance Stroll, as soon as his tires went, he went right down the order. But Nico, not only did he make the right decisions, he was able to keep his tires in good enough condition for him to be able to take advantage of the track position and everything that went his way, that leading to him finishing P3. And yeah, it was just, I don't think this race defines the season. I think this race is one of those one-offs, and Spa's going to be like that as well. Any race where there's wet conditions, you never know what's going to happen. There was points where even the McLarens were close to being taken out. I think there was one point where Oscar Piastri nearly went as well, and he nearly actually went. So yeah, I feel like any race where 5 cars are out, and they're the rookies as well, shows you that this wasn't one of those normal day races, especially if
it was the exception that doesn't define the rule type race.
Why can't they all be in a race for it? Why can't they all be in a race for it? I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I don't know.
There's always 2 or 3 teams that are in the top. There's the 2-3 that are top. Then there's the mid card, and it's always been like that
As Boss of the Blue, that's just life. Unfortunately, some people are going to be upper class, some are going to be middle class. It's just unfortunate.
For any of the performance of the car would decline with the weather, I would thing they test it with when they're making it. They probably don't give a fuck, bro. I'll be real. They probably don't give a fuck.
It's the thing about Formula One cars is they're so very finicky that any slight change can affect them. Just like Mercedes aren't really good when it comes to the heat, Ferraris aren't good in the wet. There's the only car that's good in all conditions is the McLaren, and that's why they're the top car, because they built a car that can be pretty much perfect in all conditions. Even the Red Bull, you see a bit of wind for the Red Bull, and it's not a drivable car. You saw Max spin out multiple times. You see the struggles that Yuki's having with. So outside of McLaren, there is no car in the grid that doesn't have its issues. The only reason why we know about the issues of Ferrari, Mercedes, and Red Bull is because they're the teams vying for the top. If you actually looked race by race through the other cars, there's some races where Williams do good, some races where Williams do bad, some races where Racing Bulls do good, some races where Racing Bulls do bad. But we don't care about those cars because they're mid carders for the most part. We just look at the individual drivers for those teams and see who's been better than who. But yeah, that and also the way that the media is in terms of the Sky Sports, they just focus on the top cars. They don't actually let you kind of look at what the other cars are doing for the most part. So you don't really notice that every car has its issues. And even every engine has its issues. Like a lot of the Mercedes cars, in terms of heat, were overheating to the point where cars had to stop. So there's problems with the different engine providers, problems with the different cars. It's just the way Formula One's always been, and that's why what McLaren has done this season is another level, because they've made a car for everything really. Mercedes have done it in the past, Red Bull have done it in the past. Braun was really good at that stuff. He was the reason why Mercedes got to where they were. Ferrari in the past. So yeah, it's just the McLaren, yeah, and they made the perfect car, and to beat them is pretty much impossible for most part. You can get close, but you're not going to get close enough to take the points, and that's why when McLaren don't get a 1-2, for me, I think it's a failure, because their car should be 1-2 every race. But that's me.
History doesn't repeat itself, but it rhymes, right? It's the famous quote. We had the Mercedes dynasty, we had the Red Bull dynasty, we have the McLaren dynasty. Soon, as Boss of the Blue says, could be the Aston Martin dynasty. Just that's Formula One, that's life, that's how it works. King, you're 100% right. It's a great point. It really is like the best of the rest should be everyone after McLaren, because that McLaren car, as you said, is so optimal under every condition. You mentioned tire temps. Merck struggled on with the tire temps in so many different races. Max in this race, we talked about his setup. I talked about his downforce setup. If it was going to rain, it was over before it began with. As he said in interviews yesterday, he was going to struggle significantly. That's why he had such a hard time with grip. That's why he was spinning and going over the curb, for example. So McLaren on that end, they don't have to focus on any of the micro issues. Their car is so perfect. They can just dominate irrespective, despite all the conditions. So you're right. But we will see who becomes the next dynasty in new regulations, because I think the cars are going to change completely, like drastically. I think DRS is what are they doing?
Changing. I think they're changing
right?
it. Yeah, they're changing that completely as well.
Are they removing DRS?
I don't know. I have to double check it. But I think
they are.
It might be. That might. But also the other thing that McLaren, as you said, with the way that the cars were constructed in terms. The other thing people need to realize is this: because the qualifying was dry and the race was wet, you can't change the car after qualifying. So if you've tuned your car for dry conditions, there's no changes you can make after that. So if it's a wet race and your car is basically built for the dry conditions, that's where the issues are gonna lie as well, in terms of downforce and being able to get to the top 10.
What do I think about Oscar's penalty? Look, I think it was deserved, only because he shouldn't have slowed down. I don't know why he slowed down. That almost forced Max ahead of him for the wrong reasons. I think if that's why he got the penalty, I don't know. I don't know why he stopped as well. Was it a dangerous stop? You think? You think it was a dangerous stop that could have caused the crash? That's why
No.
he kind of got the penalty.
As King and I discussed amicably early on in the show, Oscar got a penalty because he basically attempted to brake test Max. He was trying to mess up Max's restart, safety car restart, make sure his car isn't in the optimal tire temps. And I think it was brake beyond 30 psi, which Oscar broke at 60 psi, that's a penalty according to the FIA regulations. So Oscar's penalty was objectively 100% deserved. And there's no ambiguity about that. The FIA got that decision completely correct. Yeah, Boss Blue, I just checked. They are removing DRS. Yes, you're correct. Thank you for that,
When are they removing it?
They're removing it next year when the new regs come in. Now, what are they replacing it with? I'm not 100% sure. But
they're allowing it to do at any time. So basically, on this thing, it says they're letting any car activate a low drag mode on the straights at any point, whether they are chasing or following, and regardless of how close to another car they are. Z mode is the standard setting and the highest downforce configuration the car has for majority of the lap. X mode is the low downforce configuration, which will put the front and rear wings into low drag setting for use on the straights.
Fun.
So it's pretty much becoming like ERS. It's like whenever you want to use it.
It is.
Dude, that sounds sick. Yeah, to your point about 10 seconds, yeah, I think 10 seconds is justified and validated, but you're right. I think the FIA's rules on penalties, like you look at last week or a couple weeks ago, I think just the barometer for penalties, like Max got a 10-second penalty for intentionally ramming into George Russell.
Yeah.
Like there needs to be some proportionate application or like intention of the rules. I like they need to fix that completely, because if Max can intentionally ram into someone and then Oscar gets a penalty for not intentionally doing it, like they need to factor in intent and implementation more clearly. But yeah, 10-second was deserved, but something needs to be discussed.
I don't think 10 seconds was deserved. I think it should have been 5 seconds. I think maybe 10's a bit too harsh.
I think they only give it 10 seconds because Verstappen nearly crashed into the back of him.
But nothing really happened. So I don't know why they gave 10 seconds. It was nothing eventually happened. So I think it's a bit harsh. Like,
but it's what could have happened.
No, it could have happened, but
because Max had to swerve out the way.
No, and Ekevin, remember, penalties aren't just dished out for what happened. It's also to set a precedent. It's also to prevent something preposterous from happening in the future, right? Penalties are supposed to prevent that.
And don't forget, Ferrari also had Vodafone, so yeah.
Yeah, it did cost Oscar the win, possibly.
It did, but
it's his own mistake. He didn't need to do that. He would have been comfortable otherwise.
I don't think it messed up Max's race though. I think it was another incident that messed up his race. I think
it did because his tires weren't quick and then he span and he went from P2 to P10.
Yeah, but that was Oscar's hit, right? That hit Max.
Yeah, so basically, Oscar slowing down Max screwed up his tire temps, so it physically fucked up the car, and then psychologically, when someone is out to get Max, he goes cuckoo. And then the grip was already bad anyway, so he did mess up Max. But can I just say, real quick, good drives for both the two GOATs on the grid, Max and Lewis. Like, both of them were very good. I think their drives, overall recovery drives, were quite impressive. I must say.
I wouldn't call Max.
I think it was.
Yeah, Max was impressive from 10 to 5th.
Yeah. I mean, look at George, look at Charles. I get strategy and all, but still, I think Lewis and Max, the two elitist champions on the grid, kudos to them. Give them credit. I mean, they had some great maneuvers.
Yeah, Max had the second best race. Had the second best race after Nico for me.
We'll take here.
Yeah, because he was second up to that point, and then if it wasn't for what Oscar did, he probably could have won the race, and then he recovered from 10th to 5th. That's
I like Lewis's race though. He had some very nice maneuvers. I want to add one more shout out to actually Pierre Gasly against George Russell and Hamilton. I thought he was very robust, like very impressive.
Solid.
And also Ollie Behrman. I mentioned this in my comment. Man, yesterday he was rapid personified in qualifying. First ever Q3. He was unbelievable. Had he kept it and his strategy was somewhat decent, he could have honestly been on the podium here. And that's really not an overstatement. The fact that he was even competing with George towards the end of the race, wildly impressive. So shout out to Ollie Behrman. He will be a force to be reckoned with next year at Silverstone and throughout his future and continuing. But Pierre Gasly as well, proving and validating why in the wets he can definitely live up to the hype. So good for both of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any more comments you want to make about the race? You want to add anything final before you close out?
Oh no, big up Aston Martin. Their strategy for Lance Stroll.
Big up to the man with 8 accounts, 8 YouTube accounts as well, Lumen.
Big up Lumen. Yeah.
Big
up.
YouTube accounts, 8 YouTube accounts. Big up to you, anyways.
Oh, that's crazy. 8 accounts, but
Yeah, fucking hell.
Merck's strategy has been horrendous this year. It has. Merck has been bad.
I wouldn't say horrendous. I wouldn't go as far as say horrendous. I would say it's not been up to the standard. I wouldn't say horrendous.
No, because
but
we have to understand George Russell has made it very clear he's going to be the guinea pig, and if he can't win it, he's going to try what he can to subvert.
The fact that he won a race in recent times is fair enough to him. Like the fact that Mercedes actually won a race in recent times is fair. Like, but I agree, it could be better.
Double podium too. 1 and 3.
It could be a lot better. It could be a lot better. Is anyone surprised Max is not Red Bull? No, I'm not surprised. I mean, Max is never satisfied, isn't he? He's hardly ever satisfied when something doesn't go his way. So I'm not surprised. But at the end of the day, like I think Red Bull are going through some issues off the track. I think there's some falling out between behind the scenes. We don't know what happened. Like Christian Horner and the rest of the team had a falling out. So I know you're thinking.
No,
but
yeah.
No. As I was saying, I think there's a falling out behind the scenes. I don't think they're content with each other. I don't think Red Bull or as a team, Max is not happy with Red Bull. The contractors are not happy. Engineers are falling out. So, like I say, it's off the circuit issue in my opinion. It's more off the circuit than on the circuit. I think Max still has a good relationship with the team, but it's more to do with off the circuit disagreements.
At the end of the day, it depends.
His car's not good enough.
Yep,
it's both.
Go on,
car's
King.
not good enough. For me, I feel like the reason why Max is not.
Has he been secretly punished because they've overspent the cap? Red Bull recently.
No. It's nothing to do with that. It's just Max is a winner and he's a sore loser. So when you're a winner like that and you've won a drivers' championship multiple times in a row, you want to win it again. And if the team hasn't built a car for you to win, it's frustrating. If you look at the greats, anytime they've been in a car that isn't giving them the chance to win, they don't want to be there no more. They're looking for the next move. They're looking for the next team that can get them that win again. That's why Lewis left Mercedes. That's why other drivers have left people in the past. That's why Max will probably leave Red Bull when the time comes. Because if you're not the best car, why am I here? That's Max's mentality. If you're not building me the best car, why am I here? And also the factor that they let go of Adrian Newey for silly reasons, because he's one of the best designers of a Formula One car and led to this Red Bull domination with Max, because he built the car for Max. By letting him go shows that Red Bull aren't there to win no more. That's what signals. The controversies of last season with Horner, him not being fired after that, that's one of them signals. Them losing staff, that's one of them signals. So if you're Max, you're saying to yourself, is Red Bull going to be winners in the next regulations? The answer is no.
Thoughts on this?
You want to talk about a team that's not going to be top 4 going forward? That's Red Bull.
Can I add? Max's DNA only has 3 letters in it. WIN. Win. That's it.
Yeah.
So it's not even top 4. It's frankly, are you going to be able to compete? Give me the car that can compete. Give me the setup that aligns with my capabilities. And if you can't do that, au revoir. And that's why, like I said last stream, I actually called it before all these rumors came up. I did mention Max the Mercedes, King and Ekevin. I'm sure I did mention that possibility last stream, and I've said this quite a bit. Watch out, because I do think that those rumors, there is tangibility in them. Toto Wolff has also confirmed that Max is in negotiations with Mercedes, just normal protocol, but I do think there is more merit in it, just because, as everyone knows, in Max's contract, if he doesn't finish within the top 3, which may happen because Russell is in imperious form, he can leave Red Bull immediately. So we'll see. I do think Max will leave Red Bull. I think it's a matter of when, not if. It's just to who. Is it to Mercedes or is it to Aston Martin? So that's going to be the big question. Is he going to reunite with Adrian Newey? Or is he going to, which would make a lot of sense. And Max Alonso, maybe next season. Damn. And if they had the car next year or the year after, would be fire. Or would it be with Mercedes, Max and Kimi, which is Toto Wolff's wet dream? So that's what it's going to be. And Christian Horner and Red Bull, unfortunately, I feel like they're at the tail. They're gone. They're not going to be a proper title competing force. And I'm very confident in that assertion because even to look at Sauber, right? Who is pioneering the Sauber success? Jonathan Wheatley. Jonathan Wheatley was at Red Bull. So I think Red Bull are basically past the phase of dating. And I think Max Verstappen will leave Red Bull. But it depends on his objectives, right? How long does he have left in Formula One? He's made it clear in the past he doesn't want to be here for a while. He wants to explore other motorsport competitions. So let's see what Max Verstappen does. But I do expect him to leave Red Bull very, very soon, maybe even as soon as next year.
Oh yeah, can I add to that as well? Also,
Yeah.
Red Bull are moving their power systems with Ford. So is Ford going to be able to do what they need to do necessary to maybe build them the power unit possible to put them into success as well?
Yes,
and
I do.
Mercedes is going to have the best power units, maybe even the best power units. So for Max, it's probably a good idea to go to a Mercedes power team. McLaren's not possible, but yeah, as you said, Mercedes, Aston Martin, those are the two choices. He has to make the right one. And you said Max Alonso. You know that's not going to happen. It's going to be Max and Stroll if that happens. I said Max.
If it eventually happens and Max decides to stay at Red Bull, Alonso would be a good second driver to him, in my opinion.
What?
That would be a decent second driver to him behind in Red Bull. If Max does decide to stay, let's just say in a world where Max says, "I'm staying at Red Bull. I'm gonna help this team go through a rebuild phase. Let's bring in Alonso as the second driver, and let's go from there." I think that would be a good partnership.
I don't think Alonso would want to be that. If I'm being honest.
In general, like if it had to be, I think Alonso would be a good second driver for Red Bull. I'm not surprised Max is boiling behind the scenes, not getting in his way. Obviously, he will still win a few more races. He will. I think he will be. He has to.
It will be better for his career to leave Red Bull. I think.
Yeah. No, I think
Cash is new.
Better for his legacy as well, not just to win at Red Bull, and go win elsewhere as well. Why did Max use that setup here though? Is that's like Monza type setup, right? What do you mean by setup though? Like in terms of like tire, like in terms of like, I don't know what you mean by that, right? Can you clarify a bit more? Appreciate the.
It may have not worked because obviously Silverstone has a lot more corners, so that Monza's you can't use the same setup in each track. It doesn't work like that. Setup is changed by track based on how many corners, what type of terrain you're kind of like going through and stuff like that. Because some tracks are more straights than corners, some are more corners, some are close together, such like as the Azerbaijan, which is a road track, which is a different surface altogether because it's roads. It's not like the typical track. So you can't use the same setup in different circuits. You have to change it each time, and also the weather, the temperature, the timing, all has an effect on what is the best setup going forward as well.
Yeah, can I just add real quick? Both of you know why I left.
No, your internet, and your it's clear now, bro.
I mentioned it. I mentioned. Oh, is it clear now? Suddenly?
Your internet's good now, bro. It was lagging at first, and then what you call your screen's clearer now as well.
Okay, it wasn't my internet, guys. It's what we said before the stream in the back rooms. That was the reason in the back rooms. But real quick, you mentioned Ford. I do think they can fire the right power unit for Red Bull if they get Ken Miles. I think if they get Ken Miles, they can do that. You need like elite ball knowledge to understand what I mean there.
Okay.
Ken Miles. But yeah, on your point about Max, I didn't hear King's answer. I agreed with the tail end of it. I do think they had this specific setup because they expected it to be a drier race. So that's why, because this downforce setup that they had, the downforce package didn't make sense in wet conditions. It was gonna kill Max with the grip.
Yeah.
So yeah, you wish Charles had a better race. Yeah, man, it's a shame, honestly. It breaks my heart seeing Charles Leclerc be so deflated like this. You can hear him in interviews. He looks so discouraged. Like, it is really, really
I wouldn't be
tragic.
surprised if he hands in a request to leave Ferrari. I wouldn't be surprised.
I would be, because where is he gonna go?
I don't be surprised, man. I'm sure.
To be fair, this race was his own fault. It was driver error. He was top 10 and he made a mistake. So, like, when it's driver error, you can't really blame anyone but yourself. He wasn't good enough in the quali. He said it himself. He wasn't quick enough. He's usually a king of quali. He's not been like that. So he has to look within. He has to, go back to the drawing board, rebuild himself. Maybe hit the gym. Maybe put more workouts in, put more time in the simulator, because it's the race and the qualifying was all his fault. It wasn't the car or the team. It was him. It was him. Yeah, man, he has to go back to the drawing board. He needs to get his pace back.
Did you not see Sonny Hayes in that simulator non-stop, man? Come on.
Yeah, man, you got to put the reps in.
Come on, man.
Bro,
Sonny Hayes.
Of course, I've seen Sonny Hayes.
Got to put the extra reps in.
Joshua, did you guys see Joshua Pierce waving that checkered flag at the end of the race?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Good actor, by the way.
Yeah, he is.
I thought he was more impressive than Brad Pitt, but that's great.
Also, if Charles leaves Ferrari, he'd probably leave the sport altogether. I don't think there's any way he would go. Really.
I agree. Yeah, where is he going to go? Like, he's not going to go to McLaren. They're full. Mercedes, I doubt it. Who?
Maybe Haas. Probably.
Something crazy would have to happen.
Go to Williams.
Yeah, Haas.
And race alongside your former teammate, man.
No, they got a good pair. No. They wouldn't get
that. Hey, Ekevin, that is a great shot. Not to go to Williams, but Williams. Good shout. James Fowles, watch out. Keep an eye out, because they could actually be a contender very soon. At some point during these new regs. Watch out.
Oh yeah, if with the Mercedes engine and what they're doing, yeah, they will.
Oh yeah, combat. I agree, combat. It's time to Ferrari. I have a message for you. It's time to combat. It's time
Hell
to combat.
Yeah. Dude, the soundtrack and the score in the F1 film, man. Genuinely Oscar worthy.
It's time to combat Ferrari, you know what I mean? It's time to combat. Combat.
But yeah, for me, Williams will be up there definitely. They'll be but I think Williams will stay kind of best of the rest. It'll be very hard for them to compete.
I guess yeah. At least we leave this weekend with a W, no? At least we leave this weekend with a W, no?
Oh yeah, we should mention him. First ever Thai person to be atop of a F1 podium. Yeah, pretty nuts. F3 sprint race winner.
By 2028, when F1 does come around to Thailand, bro, we need to see him in the F1 seat. We need him there.
I'm gonna lie, it's very unlikely.
No. If he blossoms well in F2, with corporate capture, you never know, man.
There's a chance.
You never know here. It would be nepotism in corporate capture.
I think in the future, if Thailand can keep a hold of their races, if they can continue being a venue for races, he'll definitely be there. He'll definitely be there for sure. He'll definitely be there.
What, don't they already have a Thai race in Albon?
Yeah, but you already know what I'm trying to say.
No, Ekevin doesn't classify Albon as like a conventional Thai racer because he's
not like a full.
He's Thai though.
No,
but he's not. But he doesn't speak Thai.
No, but this guy.
but
this guy's full Thai. This guy's like full Thai. He's proper Thai-born, raised in Thailand.
Basically, Ekevin wants the whole package, like speak Thai, talk Thai, move Thai.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's not to say Alex Albon ain't Thai, but you know what I'm trying to say. You know what I'm trying to say.
I mean, put it this way: we both can speak more Thai than Albon, but I love Albon, and I'm happy he represents Thailand.
I hope it's you.
I'm gonna lie, looking at this racer, he's 19, but he's not even in any academy or anything like that.
Yeah, I
friend-
mean,
My friend was in F4, bro.
I think he went to the same school that I did.
My
I'm
my
pretty
friend
sure.
my friend was racing in F4 at one point.
Damn, that's sick.
But listen, it is what it is. Yeah, retired from it, but plan C chaos. Yeah, see this sent for chaos. Yeah, I am after that pure blooded stuff. You know what I mean? I'm out for blood. You know what I'm trying to say.
Ekevin's a cannibal. Ekevin loves cannibalism.
That's what I always want. That's what I always want.
Man's a pure blooded stuff. What is
I'm always
this?
out for
Ekevin's a vampire.
Man's a pure blood like his Harry Potter.
Listen, man, he's a muggle. He's a muggle.
Yeah,
Eka muggle.
I used to be Prost.
Damn, I'll be Senna then. I beat you.
Sorry?
No, I said I'll be Ayrton Senna then.
Jensen Button.
I'll take Senna over Button.
Oh, there's
No
very
doubt.
few
By the
that
way-
very few
Yeah,
that
by
can
the
be
way,
sent
I
off.
was watching.
If any.
I was watching old Michael Schumacher GOAT highlights. Yeah, like just him being the GOAT. Yeah, and I never knew Ted Kravitz was in F1 for that long. I never knew how long he's been in F1 for. Ted Kravitz. He's actually been there for time. He's been there for a long, long time. Ted Kravitz.
Yeah, he's old.
But
Really
yeah,
old.
I didn't know he'd be there for that. I didn't know he was there for that long, despite the age. Like, I thought
Shout
he
out
was-
Ted Kravitz, man. What a
What? Because
legend.
he
Yeah.
looks so younger than he is, or something. Is
No,
that why?
No. I just didn't expect to go back and hear the name Ted Kravitz in the old highlights. That's all.
I mean, his voice is very energetic. It's
Yeah,
exciting. It's empowering. Very knowledgeable.
Hmm.
Who doesn't love Ted?
How old is he anyway? He's 51. Yeah, no. So he
How
would have
old
been
is
in his
Crofty?
30s.
How old is
Croft-
Crofty?
Crofty.
55. Because I know
Well-
Crofty has been commentating for over 2 decades.
No, not 2 decades. He wasn't
No,
there.
he was
He-
initially for
He wasn't
Free
there.
British.
He wasn't there when Michael Schumacher was there. I think.
No, he was. He commentated.
55.
Yeah, he was commentating for, I think, Free British TV. I don't know what channel.
Yeah,
And
BBC Sport.
Or
BBC, great. Then he moved into Sky, so he was there.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah,
which
if-
rookies? Isaac
All
Hunter,
5 of the 6 of them who crashed out.
Antonelli. Yeah, they all crashed out, man. Unfortunately, Proft's been watching Lewis since he got into a go kart.
Screw that, literally, boss of the blue.
I hear.
Literally.
Yeah. But anyways, lads.
Yeah, they're both in their 50s.
Anything you want to say?
Wait,
for
did-
wrap up?
No, I'm just searching something. Didn't Lewis and Schumacher race in go karting once? Kind of like LeBron and MJ, that pickup game.
Don't remember. Wait, LeBron and MJ played a pickup game?
Yeah, in 2003,
Really?
right before LeBron was drafted and MJ at the Wizards, they played a pickup game.
I need to watch the highlights.
And,
Don't
and even
spoil it.
and I can confirm, even Lewis and Schumacher, they raced in go karting once. But Michael Schumacher did say if anyone was going to reach his 7 championships, it would be Lewis Hamilton. He did say that. I think it's a very famous interview. So, yeah, great. I guess I will see you guys for Formula One in 3 weeks' time.
3 weeks. Time.
Yeah,
Yes.
3 weeks.
In Spa. But anyways, lads, we're gonna wrap.
Oh yeah,
up.
one more thing. Congrats to
Go on.
Aston Martin, especially because they were crazy with the things they did, especially for Lance Stroll. Double points. Good look.
Yeah.
Shout out Nico Hulkenberg. You are the Hulkster, strongest man on the grid. And
Irony that Lewis
most
Hamilton-
underrated driver. I said it last year. I'll say it again. I continue to say it.
Oh yeah, and shout out to his fans as well. They were Nico. I thought so.
Spa should be an interesting race. That's all I gotta say. We'll preview that before the race. I think we'll preview the race on the weekend of the 27th of July. That's the race when it starts. I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
So we'll be there.
Sure.
We will be there. We will be there. So tune into the channel. Sub to King's channel. Sub to Mr. Joshua J, who was earlier in the chat. And yeah, We'll be back, people. Also, I do have to add one last thing before I close out. Yeah, just one last thing. Um, Lewis Hamilton, the irony that his record ended with Ferrari. The irony that his record came to an end with the Ferrari. I rest my case. Anyways, lads, we're out. Sub to King's channel. Let them know what you got coming up on your channel, bro. And I will see you on my channel on Tuesday for the Club World Cup. Big up to you.
Oh, I've got a lot of things coming. I've got shows
Of course you do.
throughout the week.
Congrats on 50 subs. Hey, this guy reached 50 subs today, by the way.
Well deserved.
Thank you for that.
He should be
Yeah,
more-
got shows
he-
throughout
more
the
than
week.
50. He should be at 100 by now, man.
It will come with time. It will come with time.
Very
Got
nice.
shows
Should
for
be
the
at
week.
100 million, man.
You're very undersubbed. You're very undersubbed.
Like,
bro.
really?
Very undersubbed. I can't lie. Very undersubbed.
No, but yeah, shows throughout the week. Obviously, I'll be doing the Club World Cup semi-finals. Chelsea fans are going to be watching my team in one of them, and then the gargantuan Real Madrid and PSG clash as well. So watch
Yep.
alongs for those two.
Here's
And yeah, other content as well. But also, even though Kick Saba did get a third, we ain't about Kick. It's all about Rumble, authentic world analysis. We need to do a new one very
we
soon.
do.
Obviously, the world of
And
politics
a wrestling
is
one as
going
well.
crazy. Yeah,
Yeah, lots of
Also,
stuff.
wrestling content is going to come soon as well.
with America, with Ukraine, Russia. You man do your thing, man.
The America party.
We'll be
Yeah.
there. We'll be there. You know,
Yeah.
you man got some stuff to talk about war. You know, potential. You know, this trade or whatever it is. All on the channel. Talk politics, people. Donald Trump.
But yeah,
Where the fuck you want to hear about? These men have it all there for you.
all
So-
types of sports. Formula One, football, basketball when it comes back, American football when it comes back.
Just-
I'm
just-
going to be there for the tennis for the quarters. I want to
Just-
be there for
just-
that.
All right, sorry to interrupt you. Just a disclaimer: I can chat politics within sports on my channel, not politics within and around the world. So anything regarding sports will be on this channel. Nothing.
That makes sense. A in sports,
Nothing
saying A in
regarding-
politics.
Yeah, exactly. Ain't no A in politics, bro. It's A in sports. You know what I'm trying to say?
Hey,
Separate
some would say sports is political. Who knows? I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
Well,
it can be.
Well, a lot of it is political, especially with Manchester United and all that fucking bullshit. You know what I'm trying to say, with the Glazers and Ineos and all that crap. So we'll be chatting all about that.
Yeah,
We'll be
Kevin, I
exposing
forgot
these-
about that. I forgot about that for an hour and 17 minutes until you reminded me.
We'll be exposing these cunts very, very soon anyway, so make sure you guys tune into the channel.
Yo, don't disrespect cunts.
True, I should do that. But yeah, sub to King's channel, get him to 60 subs, sub to my channel, get me to 345. Come on, guys, 2 subs away. 2 subs away. Do not get me started. Bro, don't worry, man. There's no end to this. But anyways, you've already started. We've not ended. We won't end. Don't worry. Until they go, we won't end. but yeah. But big up to you, Boss of Blue. Big up to you. I don't know how to pronounce your name, but big up to you, my guy. Hope you're well. And everyone in the chat. Joshy J, sub to his channel as well. Sub to King's channel and my channel. 2 subs away from 345. King, 10 subs away from 60 subs. You know the drill. Like, share, subscribe. Forza Ferrari. We're out.